So, we're going to talk about how we're in the storm today and where we're at with that. And also, we're going to talk about how people are very triggered. There's a lot of triggered people out there. There's a lot of people that haven't figured out how to contain their information, like they're upset, so they're kind of word vomiting it all over other people. Um, it's really important to keep your energetic field clear. So put yourself in a bubble every day, I would say right now, because we're going through a lot of stuff. But we're going to talk about the movie today, Central Casting. And how are you, Mia?
I'm good. I mean, yeah, the energy is really intense. I'm like feeling it. What is it also? We just had like a blood moon eclipse. I don't know what have you, all the things all at once. But I'm doing really good and I'm having, my own little things that I'm going through, but nothing crazy. And it's teaching me to just further like do what you said, kind of like go inward, go do things that are good for me, go be in nature and kind of, yeah, make sense of it inwardly, not project onto people in my life and whatnot. But then it's kind of also amazing, because things are shifting really quickly and I'm seeing just so many synchronicities, and kind of big problems being like shifted really quickly, like overnight. So yeah, I'm really excited about this time and also everything unfolding finally on the world stage that we've been awaiting so long. I mean,
Yeah.
lifetimes, right? See, I mean, it's wild. So I'm just overall like happy and thrilled in this moment. Yeah.
Mhm. It's a beautiful thing right now. It really is. And honestly, I'm a rip the band-aid off kind of person. Like I'm ready to just keep going. And if people are triggered or if, you know, somebody is like freaking out, it's just let them right
Yeah.
now and keep going because I don't want to lose any momentum.
No, and just like and be easy on yourself if you are one of those people. It's like we've all been that. It's like the reason that I know I can be so calm and completely unaffected by everything happening on the world stage and unfolding right now is because I've just processed it for I just so many years ago deeply and went through a dark night of the soul and had to feel it all, had to come to that point of okay, what am I going to do with this information? And for me, it was just to find a way to be the solution using the gifts that I already had. So, I mean, it's not that, those of us who are more chill with it, don't didn't feel it. We did. So just know that too. And it's important to feel your feelings and go through it because it is everything that's coming out is really, really wild. And it's wild that we've all lived through this, but we've made it, and it's only going to get better from here.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. And that being said, like it's so exciting seeing so many people waking up and asking questions and noticing and discussing a lot of the things that, we've been talking about for so long widely now. And so, yeah, we want to talk about some of these things and something that I've been asked a lot of questions about recently and also got a ping to talk about it further. And then, of course, which is doubles and 2.0s and clones, like that. It's such a huge topic. And then now we just saw that kind of blow up with the whole Jim Carrey thing. So maybe we want to start with that because I feel like there's a lot of layers to this conversation and I have a lot of notes. But we could just start with Jim because that's so fresh in people's minds. And I feel like everybody has paid attention to this story, right?
Let's go ahead and do that.
Okay, so let's just break it down. Okay, so with what happened. So I guess what happened last week or a week ago, is that people saw these videos of a Jim Carrey going to, I guess, an award show, and it didn't look like him. And then, of course, online, this story, and I've seen this headline a lot. This exact wording. So and so, insert actor, famous person. So that in this case, Jim Carrey looks unrecognizable. at this award show. And I'll just say that I wrote a Substack about this topic, and I included like 15 headlines in the last couple years that say that same thing. So and so looks unrecognizable. So that's a word that seems to be being put out there by, I would say, the white hats right now, to get people's attention. So anyway, so that happened. And then, of course, people are debating online saying it is him. He just had plastic surgery. It isn't him, yada, yada, yada. And then this makeup artist, I guess, famous, so, so-called famous makeup artist comes out and says, well, I think he just said, well, I impersonated him in Paris. I don't think he really claimed it was him at this award show, but then everybody says, oh, see, it's not him, it's this guy. And interestingly, that guy, I looked at his Instagram, he's the one that created that reptilian costume for
Mhm.
I would say Kim Kardashian 2.0 that we all saw last year, which was, if you haven't seen that, go look that up, right? Because that's really interesting. So he's an interesting figure just because of that, right? This makeup artist. So then after that, I think his publicist, Jim's publicist, supposedly came out and said, no, that is him. And then since then, it's like so every video we've ever seen of Jim Carrey has been circulating, and people are realizing, oh my gosh, he was in the Truman Show. Oh my gosh, that's kind of has a weird relationship to this this topic. And then he was also in that movie, The Mask. And then he was also in, what is it, The Man in the Moon, which is about
Mhm.
doubles, basically, about playing someone else. And then there's clips of Jim Carrey saying, I'm a character, and talking about himself as being a character, like that Jim Carrey is one of the characters I've played. So, I mean, it's like almost this meta wild topic of like what's real? How do we know what's real? Are any of these people we see on the world stage real? Are they acting all the time? Who are they? I mean, right? I mean, it's just like it's like this huge philosophical conversation that it's kind of inspired.
Yeah. Well, and I think a lot of them are not real. And so to me, that was totally not Jim Carrey. Does Jim Carrey even exist anymore? I don't think so.
So, what do you think? Because there's also a video I shared of, and if you guys are follow Q and kind of that conversation, you'll know who this is, Isaac Cappy. If not, he's another celebrity that allegedly was murdered for speaking out about what's happening with the children. And there's a clip of him saying that he had a 5-hour conversation with Jim Carrey where Jim was like begging him to help him get in touch with Q. He used that language, essentially the military because he wanted to live, and where Isaac's saying no one's gonna allowed to do basically to hurt children in the way that they did and be okay, like he can't help him. And so that's interesting because that's floating out there too, but also all of these videos of Jim speaking out, against vaccines with Jenny McCarthy, speaking out about the cabal, kind of revealing things. So it's almost like they want people to pay attention to the fact that if people speak out against the cabal or the crimes against humanity, they get replaced, right? I mean, it's like that's one layer, a way to look at it, because there are a lot of people that think that, oh my gosh, he was taken out by the cabal. But yeah, I don't feel like that's really what's happening. I feel like that's a layer because they do these psychological operations, and then there's like a layer for people depending on where their consciousness is almost. And that's how I would describe it. What do you think, honey?
Um, I would say, like, look at Epstein
Mm-hmm.
and look at, he was really a spy, right? And he was doing all these things. And a lot of people just thought he was like a billionaire playboy, right? But then there's all these underlying things going on, and they're using that to explode everything out information wise. But when I look at Jim Carrey, I feel like he's probably been gone for a very long time. And the cabal probably took him out a very long time ago, probably when he signed some sort of contract or got upset that he had signed some sort of contract. It doesn't really feel like he's been the same person for a very long time. Now, I think whoever was playing him later might have played Biden later and then been seen as him. Because I always got, yeah, Jim Carrey was playing Biden for a while. But when I think about it, like when it comes in, like when did he really leave? I feel like he really left after the relationship with he and Jenny McCarthy broke.
Yeah. So, and
So
that's you touched on some different things. It's like we should talk about the military operations and Biden because that's one like aspect of what's unfolding now, but also just like throughout Hollywood, it's like how many times. And I think that's what people are meant to wake up to right now. How many times have they just pulled people out and put a new character in when one didn't act the way they wanted, right? Because if you look at Oprah, like go back and look at Oprah from like the early 80s or whatever, when she started her show, it's almost like there were so many iterations of her. And they would just say she kept saying she lost weight and she gained weight, but her face is not the same. She doesn't look like the
yeah.
same person over the years. Um, who's another one like Britney Spears really looks like she's had different iterations. Dave Chappelle. I know when Dave, I mean, after that whole drama where Dave went to Africa, I mean, I don't know if he's still alive or not, but that's not the same Dave.
No.
Um, Kanye, and I have, Kanye's friends of friends, so there are people that say that is not who Kanye used to be from personal, knowing. So it's like it seems like, what do you think, honey? They've been doing this for the entire time that Hollywood's been a thing, it seems like, right?
Yeah, I think so. And one of the ones that really kind of hit me was Sonny and Cher. And that,
Right.
yeah, it was almost immediate that they were replaced. They were immediately
Yeah,
replaced.
that's wild.
So as soon as they signed a record deal, they were gone. And the new Cher was a masculine person,
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
and Sonny was also masculine, but Cher all of a sudden was taller. There was didn't look the same.
They
They
look
looked more normal before.
They look
Like,
yeah, they look quite different. I saw those
yeah.
photos recently that are circulating. I'm sure you can find them on Telegram if you haven't seen, but it's quite like they didn't try that hard with them. We were so
Mm-mm,
unaware of things then. It's like it was very easy. They just plopped these two new people in. They look almost like nothing like, not like the originals very much at all. It's wild.
mm-mm. Yeah. And I mean, we can take it all the way to Trump, and the White Hats, and looking at all the actors that play Trump. And every single day there's a different actor, you know, with a
Yeah,
different hair color.
yeah, so it's sometimes, and that would be, I feel like he's still here, but so
Yeah.
the doubles are also used to protect people, or think about it
Mhm.
this way, so to protect people, right, over the years. Even think JFK, like that was a double when he died. He didn't really die.
Mhm.
So, and then think of like certain figures, there are certain figures I'm aware of that like, had a double go to prison for them, maybe like in the 60s or whatever back, so there's so many reasons that you could use a double if you're a well-known person aside from being replaced, right, too.
Yeah.
Um, so that's just wild even to start, tracking that. But back to like, okay, then okay, so the operation, um a huge part of what's happening is a lot of people aren't really there right now. And I saw that speech that Ricky Gervais gave recently. Again, I hadn't watched it in a long time. He hosted the Golden Globes in 2020 and he roasted all the celebrities, right? I'm sure
Mhm.
everybody here, if you haven't, go watch it because it's funny and amazing, but also quite dark and interesting to watch everybody's faces as they're listening to them because he's essentially outing them for crimes against humanity publicly with humor.
Mhm.
Um, and what I got was that day, that was the last day a lot of the people in that audience were seen publicly alive because the military actually came in after that speech and rounded people up.
I think so too. And I don't even feel like that room was the same room that they normally used. Like it
Mm,
feels like a different building or a different part of the building, or, something was going on there. And it also didn't seem like there was many people there as there normally would be.
mhm,
But
mhm.
yeah, I don't think that they lasted. They knew they were getting rounded up at that point. And if you think about a lot of the movie stars, we barely see them anymore. Like they're not really out there anymore. And when you do see them, they're on maybe like TikTok and they're doing all kinds of weird stuff now and showing you their lives, but they don't look like the same person. And they're talking about plastic surgery and all this kind of stuff. But really, you're seeing a completely different person. And it may be a person with a mask on, but the structure's different underneath.
Yeah, it's very interesting because a lot of them have been doing kind of 180s in what they talk about, and you have to ask yourself why. I mean, you think of like Pamela Anderson, who now it's almost like she's on a journey to wake people up to the ickiness of like the beauty and fashion industry and just the where she's getting so much attention for just things like not wearing makeup and being kind of who she really is, who she, ironically who she really is and things like that. It's like, and I don't know if she's gone or capitulated, but it's interesting. It's like they're still using the military. I mean, it's still using their brands, but now kind of for the good or to bring up important conversations or kind of deprogram the population. So it's really interesting to kind of see like okay, what's that person talking about now? What are they focused on now? And it's yeah, a lot of times it's quite different from historically what they were doing. It's
Yeah.
very interesting. And I, in that Substack, which you could put the link below too, I included an article that I want to say, I think it came out in 2020 on like the 17th of the month. And it talks in Newsweek, talks about they call it like the army, I think, of 60,000 plus individuals operating as undercover agents on the world stage and privately. So basically, what they're saying is there are 60,000 or more people out there. They're saying this is in addition to what's already been happening, like the CIA or the FBI. This is additional out there right now playing other people. I mean, they
Mhm.
told this to the world. It's just like this is all the pieces are kind of not coming together for people really until now. So that's why it's like good to go back and revisit some of these topics and kind of tie it all together because when you do, it's really wild. And you can go read that article. It's pretty interesting. And they talk about the level of like sophistication. And I have those videos in my Substack too, where they also there's a woman from who's supposedly ex-CIA. I mean, personally, I don't really know if there's ex-CIA if that exists. So imagine someone coming out now publicly saying like, I I worked with the CIA for 30 years and I she was in charge of um masks and costumes and basically she
Mhm.
talks about how she even I think I want to say in the 80s or 90s they were at the level of sophistication with these masks and costumed actors that they could take somebody dress them up like a president and put him in a meeting with all the people and they would not be discovered. She had to do some tests like that. So, I mean, it's just, and that's just somebody wearing a costume, right? That's not even getting into like the doubles of the holograms and all that, which we should talk about too. That's just basic, like that's the most simple version, and that's already so sophisticated, right? It's
Yeah,
crazy.
it's crazy. And then they also have the thing that goes over the voice box.
Yeah, that's so important.
So you can look and talk just like the person that you're impersonating. And I think that's really important. And we will have a lot of stuff that comes out that people get to finally learn about once the military says, oh, by the way, you've been in a military operation and we're saving the world right now. And this is what's going on. But for years, we've been in the middle of this really elaborate play. And I watched something yesterday or maybe today, and it was about Clinton and his, whatever he was testifying. And basically it rated as AI, so once they ran through it, it looked like he wasn't even really there.
Okay. So they're
Yeah.
publicly putting that out now. They're so people are looking at those videos and proving their AI. Okay, so that's so interesting because it's like what I kind of came in when I was watching the whole gym, saga play out was like, okay, wait a minute. We know the military is going to soon tell people what's been going on and that they have video because they've been having people, they want the public to you ask for justice and wake up and say like, oh my gosh, we want these people held accountable, and that's starting to happen now, right? But in truth, the arrests and military tribunals have been happening for years now,
Mhm.
since I think 2020. So and what I get is that there are those are have been filmed. I don't know if they're going to show everything, but essentially think of they have everything because they had the NSA, they've turned the NSA, they have what they've shown so far with the Epstein drops, it's like that's just the tip of the iceberg. So at some point, maybe when the EBS happens, they're going to show they want people to know what really happened and that it's true what these people are doing. So I can only imagine that they're going to go show some of the things with maybe Hillary Clinton or whomever, some of the tribunals, and they're going to need at this point, like people are so confused about what's real and what's fake, they're going to have to do something to qualify
Mhm.
them, right? So that people know, like, yeah, this is an AI, this is not a deep fake, this isn't a hologram, this isn't again an actor in a mask. It's like we're starting to learn all of it, educate ourselves, and then they're gonna have to prove that they're real. And so maybe this is part of the process, so, right? I mean, it feels like it.
Yeah. And I think the tribunals were filmed not with digital, so they can't be altered. So I can't really remember what that's called, but they were filmed in a way that you can't mess with them. And
On film. I mean, I'm a yeah photographer. You would just on film, so you could show it. Yeah.
yeah,
You can't fake that. I mean, in a way you could fake, and it's like it is kind of so meta. It's like in a way, it's like you could almost. I mean, that's the thing. Some people, whatever they do to prove it's real, it's like some people may not even believe it's real, right? At this point, it's
yeah.
like,
And that's up to them whether they believe it or not, you know. I mean, there will be some people who hold out because
mhm.
it's so intense that they won't want to see. But we also have a lot of the people that have been the NPCs, which we should talk about a little bit, who, they're not going to be here anymore.
Can you explain it? Because I feel like there's just so many new people entering this conversation. Can you explain what an NPC is, honey?
Yeah, so an NPC is a non-player character. And there's several kinds of NPCs. There is, every person who is playing, because we're in a matrix, has a big soul. I'm trying to get little props here. Has a really big soul and then has a little human soul. So the human part of you is what's connected to the body, the mind, all that stuff. And this is your big advisor. This is your big soul, and that's the one that people will ask me, what kind of ET soul am I? What kind of, am I an angelic or am I whatever? That's this one. Okay, the big one. And the big one is here like a parent or like a tutor teaching the little younger human soul how to come out of this low density. Okay, so that's the premise. So if you have one of these, then you're not an NPC. If you only have a human soul, then you're going to be kind of confused about a lot of this, and it's going to be hard to comprehend a lot of the things that are going on. But you have consciousness still. Now, if you are just with a human part of you, a human consciousness, you probably won't go to the next step unless you have someone come in and assist. Now, the people that are watching this right now, you have both. Okay. You wouldn't even be interested in watching what we're saying
So would you
right
say that
now.
like the Cabbage Patch Kids, which, like when they're genetic, how do we even say that quick? When they are I guess birthing babies and incubator babies, I guess that's what it was. That's the Cabbage Patch baby, right? That they did
Yeah.
after the reset. So when they're doing that, so it's a child coming into the world without coming through a mother, are they are they automatically an NPC? Or how does that work?
Yes, because they have 1/100th of one of these. So basically, the cabal, or whatever you want to call them, figured out how to split a human consciousness, so a human soul, into 100 pieces. And they would keep one little piece for each one of those incubator babies. And they didn't live very long, but they had enough consciousness to keep going.
Um, yeah, it's so
So
interesting. And I always just love to
you have a
mention the
little
clip of,
lizard behind you. So
oh
cute.
my gosh, ahoy.
Yeah,
Uh,
but
and
and
I
that's a
was
really big subject, like
It's a huge
right
subject.
there.
I just like to quickly mention that, like, the Jerry Seinfeld clip that's out there that you can find because I find it often and reshare it of him saying, yeah, my dad was an incubator baby in Coney Island. And the interviewer thinks he's joking. He says, oh, you're joking. And he's like, no, I'm totally serious.
Yeah.
So, that's interesting. So that like also because we need to talk about clones and holograms and the different things, but like, what's really going on with because often when this comes up, people say like, well, what about this? And then they'll send me an image, one of those old-fashioned looking images of somebody who looks just like Jay-Z or somebody that looks just like Tom Hanks, or how there's so many of those. It's allegedly historical photos that look exactly like a celebrity of the day. And they'll say, oh, they've lived this whole time. Is that true? Or are they using the DNA of them to create a new version because they're very talented and want them to be on the world stage? Or I mean, what do you get is happening with that? Because it is interesting.
I think usually it's a clone.
Okay.
So, they have the Rockefeller bloodline, all the 13 family bloodlines, and I think they keep it to those. So they're cloning themselves quite often.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. And then the holograms are a totally different thing. And they're also what I call an NPC as well. And they're
I want to
everywhere. Yeah.
I want to talk about that too, but before, can we ask just, can I say something?
Yeah.
So on that whole note with the Rothschilds, someone connected to the family, I feel like told me that they don't actually, and I thought this was really interesting because it opens a whole other conversation. I was like, I never thought about this, but that what they do for like help on their estates or assistance is essentially that they're still breeding, maybe it's clones from their own family, but essentially incubator babies and essentially producing the help. So that that's why, okay, so it's like, well, why wouldn't somebody who works for, the family come and speak out when if they're having a hunting party or doing something really icky or weird? It's like, well,
They're
that would
part
make a
of the
lot of sense.
family.
They're part of the family, and since birth, they were groomed for that role, and they probably aren't that aware if they're an NPC the way you described. So that's wild in itself. I mean, it's just like to prepare yourself for like things to just, there's so many layers to the conversation, but just things are way more strange and wild than we have ever known. And um, yeah, basically
Yeah.
that.
I think
We
one thing we should probably bring up is it's really hard to wake up if you think that these people are just like us. So they're non-human, pretty much. So you need to remember that. Like these are the Anunnaki bloodlines. These are the purest Anunnaki bloodlines, and a lot of them are inhabited by other beings. They create openings for negativity to come in. So they have a totally different agenda. and they don't think of humanity as part of them. They think of them
Yeah.
as something different, just like
Right.
we think of cows as something different.
Right. So this is why when you think like, or people think, say like, there's no way, I can't even believe anybody could do something like that. It's just not possible. We're not like, and it's, yeah, we're not like that. No, it's totally inconceivable to us. It's so
Yeah.
horrible and icky and weird. We can't. And that's what you start to realize over years of processing this information. Like that's really the only thing that makes sense and that it's true. And also right now, as we talk about this, like Elon Musk, who is a 2.0, also, he puts a lot of tweets out and he provokes a lot of conversation. And remember, he's got like 50 million plus followers. So he's
Mhm.
really guiding a lot of people when he puts things out into the field. And he what did he tweet something like what if the white people are actually from outer space? So it's like he's basically drip drip drip, he's like introducing the conversation of like what, honey, you just shared, to get people to start to like, well, what does that mean? Well, what it means is what you just said. Yeah. So it's like, and that's what's
Yeah.
going to come with the ET disclosure. It's like, and there's already little moments in the Epstein files. It's like they do it as gently as they can to prepare people because it's really intense. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
It's
um,
very intense. And we have a lot of different aspects, as far as because evolution, no offense, but evolution is not how it works. So, um, basically, if you're white, like Mia and I are white, then we may have more Anunnaki blood, or we may have more Pleiadian blood, or we may have more, DNA that comes from ETs. Doesn't mean they're bad ones.
yeah,
So
so
keep that in mind.
I read something and I was like, I wonder if this is true. So I'm just going to put it out to you right now that because I have Rh negative blood, and that, a lot of people talk about how a lot of the Anunnakis or the elites have that blood too. Well, I do. And but I've also heard that maybe that came from the Lyran lineage too. Do you get that's true or just the Anunnaki?
Um, I get no, but that doesn't mean it didn't come from another ET.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So is it Lyran? No. Meals, it feels more like the tall whites, to be honest, who've been kind of cranky. And I think that humanity has been really annoying to the tall whites. So they want to be left alone, but I'm sure the Anunnaki were not great with them either. Um, and when you think about a tall white, they're basically like a Nordic being, and they're so pale, and their hair is almost white as well. So, we also have to remember all the Tartarians, and they were all mixed, too. And
Yeah.
the Tartarians, there was good and bad. We have to remember that we came from a polarized universe. We've just crossed over into a non-polarized universe. And now we're cleansing out all the gross polarity. And it's not very fun, but it's really necessary so that we can build the new.
Yeah. I mean, it's so fascinating if you could, get to the part where it's like fun to learn about this and it's not traumatic anymore. But
Yeah.
honey, okay, so like I feel like I know I can feel people saying like, okay, but with the clones, like, okay, so I don't know where I got this, but I feel like the with the clones, they can it's not that they have to clone them from birth and they have to wait for them to grow up. They can do it at a certain age, like any age, right? What do you think? Do you get that too?
Yeah, it feels like generally they clone them around 25.
Okay. Um,
Yeah.
Yeah, so and they put everything in movies, and of course before they were also trying to get us to manifest their dystopia through their gross movies, so just keep that in mind. But like there is that movie called The Island or something where they basically show
Mhm.
um how cloning kind of how it works and how people will have body doubles, and then also, or if something happens to them and they need like a heart transplant or medical body doubles too, which I never even thought of that before that movie. I was like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. Hmm. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
That one's a really interesting one. I think it's important to watch if you're having a hard time understanding this.
Right.
That would be a really good one. The cloning also, they transfer the consciousness.
Hmm.
So that's something to be aware of. And the clones don't last as long. They don't live as long. So someone could have clone after clone after clone. And really thinking about like consciousness in general is important because that's what we actually are, is consciousness. So the negative knew that, they hid that from everybody and said, oh no, you're just physical. Just consume and, you know, keep focused on your physical stuff, your house and your car and everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's actually everything is going to get way more awesome. Everything is going to be really beautiful. But it's like, yeah, we have to realize what's been really going on here and who we are. And it's actually really beautiful. So that's like the good part. But
Yeah.
like, it's been really weird. Um, and yeah, I mean, oh my gosh, there's so many layers to it all. But like, okay, so I just want to add with the try with the military and all that happening. Also, just remember, and you can go find this too, guys. Like if you're just kind of new to that concept, it's like there was a moment in 2020, 2021 where they were showing in the media all these celebrities wearing a boot, which means they had an ankle monitor. So you can go back and find that too. And so when we say like it's not Hillary Clinton there anymore doing this subpoena, it's because it's not her. She's already passed away. You can find, I think she did a book tour in 2020 and it was in London or something, and had to cancel it. And then she was shown wearing a monitor, or not the monitor, but a boot over her broken toe, supposedly or whatever. So you can go find almost all these people with an image of them in public wearing the boot over the ankle
Yeah.
monitor. Yeah. So that's
A
kind of
boot,
interesting.
or even like you could see the ankle monitor under their pants.
Yeah, I think even like Obama was shown like stand up paddleboarding or something, wearing one or something. It was
Yeah.
wild in Hawaii. I was like, oh, that's really interesting. Okay.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. Okay. So if I just so many details, but like, okay, the holograms, because okay, I don't think that the white hats are now using clones because people will say, oh, well, because Donald Trump mentioned a clone. It's like I don't personally get that they're using clones anymore, but that people need to wake up to realize they were. So to
Yeah.
me, I think Biden was never really a president because he had a tribunal in around 2020. And that's why also President Trump will always say, like, he's shot. I mean, he literally says he's no longer here. They say in so many ways on the
Yeah.
world stage what happened. I mean, they even said, I think on the news that John McCain died in a tribunal or something. Like they remember that clip? I can't remember exactly
Yeah.
what.
I want to say it was his daughter or something, or
Yeah,
yeah,
we were
leaked
like,
it. And they're leaking it on purpose. And most people just don't pay attention.
yeah, most people, but like we're those people. So we're tying all together for you because it's actually, and why you're sharing because it's way more positive because people are so concerned this is still going on and it's not, like it's already cleaned up. These people have already been taken care of. So then, okay, what are they using? They're like it says in Newsweek, actors in masks. There's also green screen. I mean, there's so much technology. There's very advanced AI that we've always had, but they didn't tell us we had. There's holograms. Okay, and holograms are really interesting because they're way more advanced than we know, right? And I want you to talk about this, honey, because you are really well versed in it. That how like there are both holograms that could be used by, say, the white hats for a celebrity, but also and they'll show glitches with people. They want people to start noticing, but also for like holographic people just
Yeah.
around. Okay.
Yeah.
Like,
So if you think about, I mean, there's been a lot of them that have been shown, but the best one is to look up one of the latest Star Trek movies. And this girl ends up in the holodeck. So just look at that on like YouTube, say the holodeck clip from Star Trek, and see if you can find it because she doesn't even know that she's not talking to a real person. She thought that she got her friend to come in and to help her. And she knew that the other people weren't real, but you can still touch them. You can still, you have to remember the human body is 99% empty space. And basically, you can create another person in front of yourself if you have something that you have to learn, or if you're in a crowd or you think there should be a crowd, then they'll show up. If you think there's supposed to be a lot of traffic, you'll create a lot of traffic. But what we haven't been aware of is that a lot of it is us doing it with prompts,
And it's a
you
great
know?
book if you want to, like, if this is new to you, this idea, because it's pretty big too. It's like the holographic universe. There's a book
Yeah.
called The Holographic Universe, and it's, I think, by Michael Talbot, and it's a great book. He also has videos out there before he died mysteriously on YouTube talking about where we
Mhm.
really are, what this really is. So just sidebar, go check that out if you're like, what?
Yeah. Because we've been taught that everything in front of us is real, and it's not. We're in a simulation, we're in a matrix, and we're learning things here. And it's a natural matrix that was created for learning, but then something was put over the top of it that was nasty. And we're basically getting rid of the nastiness right now. But the hologram, you can touch them, you can talk to them, and you are way more powerful than you think you are.
Hmm.
So it's a pretty amazing thing. But as we go through this year, the natural matrix is going to start letting go of holograms. So we're not going to have this huge population of holograms anymore.
Yeah, and there's actually, it's so interesting because there's video out there that I saw this week of a guy saying talking about the Grove in Los Angeles, which is like kind of a well-known like outdoor mall. It's very Disneyland-esque. They started redoing all these outdoor spaces in the 90s in LA and making they all kind of look like Disneyland malls. There's like a fountain and like a little tram that goes through and they're really cheesy. But he was like, yeah, a lot of the people there are actors. And he's like, well, how do you know this? And he's like, well, because I was. And then he talks about how he got paid to go be an actor at the mall just because they want filler people. So it's like so
Hmm.
meta. It's almost like that's a thing that we're learning now. And then also like what you just said, honey. So it's like, however you look at it, there's going to be less people. And some people might think, oh, there's less paid actors. But and really, there might just be less NPCs. It's like, is that even? I mean, that feels true, but it's almost like there's again like how where's your consciousness and where do you how do you
Oh,
receive what they're saying, right?
yeah. Should
Um,
we show the little clip
do you
if you
want?
want
I
to
mean,
do
it's
that?
like 5 minutes. Do you think we should show it? Because yeah, it's very
Yeah, at
interesting
least part of it.
because they call the technology solid light,
Yeah, because
and
it is.
it's just like oh, and before we show the clip, it's I wish I almost had grabbed this one, but it's pinned in my Instagram stories under like doubles, but it was did you see? It's Candace Owens going to a place. Maybe it's the place in this video we're about to show to see this technology, and it's a hologram of her. And I'm like, oh my God, they're literally telling you she's a 2.0 and a hologram because she's there talking to
Mhm.
her own hologram with the friend. And they're like, oh my gosh, it's just like you. It's so real. And they're like, we'll test it. And they ask it things. And in the thing, it's like her mind is blown because there's a fake Candace that's as good as her, but it's like they're telling
Yeah,
you. They're literally showing you the technology. It's
yeah,
wild.
it's crazy. I
Um,
love it.
okay, should I play it? Let's see.
Yeah, just make sure you click sound when you do it.
Is it
Like when
already
you hit
there? Do I have to
share,
do something? Oh, do I need to
you
do
have
share?
to hit share at the bottom, and then you're going to want to make sure you click sound so that they can hear the sound.
Okay, so I clicked it. Oh, I see. Got it. Okay.
There we go.
Okay, so well, you can only see the. This is like my Substack. Okay. Yep.
The world of sci-fi has been promising us holograms for years. Think holochess in Star Wars or Princess Leia beaming a message out of R2-D2.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
A lot of the holograms we've seen outside of sci-fi, like Tupac or Michael Jackson appearing on stage, have actually just been clever illusions. But Silicon Valley company Lightfield Lab has created a real hologram, without the headgear, that you can see in front of you just like a real object. I'm here at Lightfield Lab in Silicon Valley, ready to see a concept known as solid light. They're pitching this as a genuine hologram. This isn't virtual reality, this isn't augmented reality, this isn't a picture of Tupac on a stage. This is going to be something that feels like a real object that I can actually walk around and see, interact with from multiple angles. I have no idea what I'm about to see through that door, but I'm pretty excited to check it out. Unlike other technologies, solid light doesn't rely on spinning volumetric displays or reflections projected up onto angled glass. Instead, Lightfield Lab says this technology is the highest resolution holographic display platform ever designed. A light source sends light through a multi-layered piece of polymer known as a phase guide that steers and focuses the light into mid-air, essentially creating a hologram in the space in front of you. The result is what Lightfield Lab calls a solid light object that moves, refracts and reflects in physical space. Seeing it with my own eyes, I realised the solid light name makes sense. At first, it looks like you should be touching something solid, even if it's just a screen or a piece of reflective glass. But I was just passing my hands through light. So I'm in front of the solid light demonstration now, and it looks probably to you like I'm just watching a TV screen, that I'm just standing in front of a flat display, but it's actually a hologram. Sorry, I just had to wait for the chameleon to catch a fly there. It feels like it should be about here. This is where it should feel like I'm touching a screen, but there's nothing here. And if I put my hand further through, it's like I can still see the animal, but my hand is passing through it. I'm 6 inches into this box and I can't feel anything. It's just air. So what should feel like a flat screen here, maybe I'd be touching the very front of the animal right here. I'm able to actually pass through it, and it looks like it should be fairly solid, but it's not. It's just thin air. And the coolest thing is, I mean, my glasses do look great, but these aren't 3D. These are just because I have bad eyesight. So if I take them off, with or without glasses, it's exactly the same. It's pretty crazy. No headset, no 3D glasses, and like no screen. One of the coolest demos I saw was using a magnifying glass to actually magnify the hologram, just like it was a real object. I didn't just see a close-up of a display like I would with a two-dimensional screen. The hologram I saw was about 10 inches across, and it was being generated by a single solid light panel, though you don't actually see that panel in the installation. Lightfield Lab says each one of those 28-inch diagonal panels generates an effective density of 10 billion pixels per square metre, and they can be scaled up, potentially using multiple panels to make a massive wall. Unlike other light effects that use forced perspective to create the illusion of dimensions, you can still see the same hologram from multiple angles without any
So, like, I don't know if you watch the whole thing, you guys
No,
can
that's
find.
good. That's good.
But
I
like,
mean, it explains it, you know.
and I
But
don't even think that's the highest quality, right? That this is
no,
still like just getting to like, right, to what we know is really possible. Oh,
that's rudimentary in comparison to what your mind can do. And then also what the technology can
yeah,
actually
what the
do
tech can do.
now.
Well,
Yeah.
actually, I always like, okay, so I took a nanotechnology class in college, which was like a really big far out thing then. I mean, because this was, a while ago. This was like 2003 or something. And he worked at JPL because I went to an arts school near JPL, Jet Propulsion Laboratory. That's a whole conversation. It's basically like you could think of it like NASA. And he could only talk about so much. And it was already so advanced then, what he was explaining. And then I remember at that same time, I can't remember if it was through him or I just found it online. It was a JPL white paper about holographic technology and how they could essentially basically it was like blue beam tech, how it was talking about it was
Mhm.
talking about how using certain metals and aerosols and different things, they could basically put something, say, in the sky and have it be up to, I think, a week and be completely realistic.
Yeah.
So even back then, and the fact that this was even just out there and I could find it is pretty wild. So yeah, it's just so far beyond what we even know with that stuff, right? Let me see. I feel
Yeah.
like there's something else on here. Yeah, this is in my Substack if you guys want to check it out because there's some other things in there too. I mean, even that show Eureka, which I think I found about from you, honey. There's
Yeah.
so many amazing disclosures in there of tech like this and other things. Um,
Such a good show. And it's not scary, which I think is kind of important at this point. If you're going to watch something. And there was 5 seasons, and we were so bummed when we were done watching it. But there's just so much disclosure in there.
Yeah. And the last ones, I think that was when they got into the quantum, which is like what
Mhm.
we're really stepping into now. So I totally recommend it. I was so sad when it ended too. It was so good. But yeah,
Yeah.
that stuff especially the end when they were talking about all the quantum, I mean, it was like very advanced. I was kind of blown away that they put that all into there at the time that they did. It's really interesting.
Yeah. And it's not like I mean, it was a little while ago that they did that show.
Yeah. I want to say like 90s or early 2000s, but like, I don't know, maybe not
I
90s,
mean,
but it
at
was
the
a while ago.
latest, maybe 2010.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, oh my gosh. So then there's like the double, and I also like it's like it's such a big conversation, but I also think that they're doing like organic. Oh yeah, that's in that show. Remember the organic robot episode where they would
Mhm.
create the 3D organic robots with the um the machine, what's it called? The printer, the 3D printer.
Oh, yeah.
3D,
Mhm.
3D printing organic robots and then putting the people's consciousness into them. It's amazing they did this show without it being dark because it sounds so dark, but it wasn't. And when you watch it, if you want to watch it. But right? So that's a thing too. It's like they've been doing so many things.
Yeah, if you watch Star Trek, Star Wars, Eureka, what's that other one? Stranger Things. Like there's so many shows that actually show you what's been going on. Interstellar,
Yeah.
um, Moonfall, and people will say like Moonfall is actually the combination of two moons, and they present it as the one that we see. But there's so much knowledge out there that's been bypassed.
Right.
And we've been taught to bypass ourselves, like, oh, I'll take care of everybody but me, you know, I'll take care of everybody's needs, and then I'll be left with nothing. That's kind of how they've taught everyone to behave. And we do that not only with ourselves when it comes to other people, but we bypass information constantly. And I think one of those things is not being taught how to actually listen. We're only responding. So, what does that person have to say? Oh, okay, now I can respond and say my point of view. And that's not actually listening. So, there's these behaviors that we've had for so long, they've made it easy for the cabal, basically, to create this whole world, and we just ignore it. But no more.
No more. Yeah,
No
it's really
more.
said, because yeah, in school they teach us to do that basically and to just memorize things, not to really process information. So yeah, it's like a lot of layers of healing and deprogramming happening. Um, I just wanted to look quickly at the questions people submitted. I think we kind of talked about everything. I mean, people were just asking about specific people and, like Kelly Osbourne. That's just another thing, like Kelly Osbourne, and how they're also, where there's sort of an awakening about Ozempic and those GLP-1 drugs right now. Like, are those really good? I feel like they're really bad.
No,
Um,
they're not the same people either, though. Like being aware
yeah.
of that. Yeah.
So that's what's so interesting is like it's almost again, it's like where's your consciousness? It's like if you're looking at her and going like they're not, someone's not awake enough yet to realize like she's been replaced as a devil, but they're going like, oh gosh, maybe I don't want to take those drugs that everybody's taking. I mean,
Right.
it's like there's so many layers of activation and of kind of deprogramming and waking people up happening, and it's quantum, and they have, the military is that advanced. So it's like quantum psychological operations. It's like really
Well,
wild.
it is really wild. And you think about our technology right now, the military is 400 years ahead of that. And not everybody in the military has had access to that, but they're gaining more and more access because it's basically good military that's left. So we're not really dealing with any of the negativity that we're seeing. So, really being aware of that is super important at this moment in time and allowing it to just show you what has happened and not being tragically sucked in, is what I would say.
Right. Yeah, that's so important. And that's why we say it's a movie. It's not to dismiss what has happened and gone on. It's because these things have been cleaned up. These people aren't really there anymore. Again, you can read that Newsweek article like if you want to get into it, but you also don't need to, but it's like to just realize like this operation, I mean, it's like an ancient war that's wrapping up. It's been going on for
Yeah.
so long, but like the really heated part where the military alliance has stepped in and started handling has been like full on since what, like 2016, and maybe even they asked Trump to be part of it in 2012 or something. I mean, if you go look back at some of the tweets he was putting out around then, it was like this, it was basically about what's been cleaned up about the crimes against children and stuff. So it's like going on a long time.
Mhm.
And also then people say, well, why did it take that long? Well, it's like think about how like what you just talked about, honey, with the deprogramming and how complex it is. It's like we're also raising in frequency the whole realm, and it's like we want to be able to continue that into that beautiful future and have people's vibration stay as high as possible. So it's like as it's not too fast, not too slow, just in the right way so that people can like move through the portal of in the shift without fully crashing, without creating civil war.
Mhm.
It's very nuanced and again, yeah, they have very high technology. They also have people working with them who are seers, who are healers, who are like, on this level. So they're taking everything into consideration when they move things forward.
Yeah, they really are. And just being aware that the world is changing right now, and it's not changing for the worse, it's changing for the better,
Yeah.
and just look forward to that.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, it's all so crazy, but at the end of the day, I always get like the most important thing to do is because a lot of people, and I even just had this conversation with the guy who came to harvest some coconuts for me the other day, and it was really beautiful because we got into this stuff and I was like, oh, he's pretty awake. So he was so happy that I was aware of what was going on. And it was really sweet because he was doing that thing of like, as a man, like I feel like I should be doing more. He's like, and it's kind of what I went through when I first woke up, like, oh my gosh, like I had people in my life where I really understood, some of the icky things that had happened. And I thought, like, am I supposed to be working with people like MK Ultra survivors one on one? Like, I was like really scrambling on like, what do I do with this? And I feel like a
Mhm.
lot of people are going to go through that. And ultimately, what I got was no, be the solution and hold the frequency of joy because it's all about vibration and we're creating it all. So to hold that frequency is actually the most important thing, but also to be the solution. And for me, it's like And for anybody, for you, it's like, it's not like you need to step out of being you. It's like, what are you doing in your day-to-day life? You might already be being the solution because this guy already was. I was like, but you already just told me everything. You're creating the new world. You're already living. He already was, but it would, it can feel like I need to do more. But like that's so important. Whatever your gifts are and whatever you feel inspired to do, that's in alignment with, you know, integrity for you and truth and beauty, just that's enough. That's amazing. So just don't feel like you're not enough because that in itself is so powerful.
Yes. Yeah. And you are enough. You're huge. You're amazing. And we're so grateful that you're all here with us doing this. And everybody has their own unique, beautiful frequency and gifts that they're bringing in. And don't ever feel like someone else is better than you or anything, because we're all here for different things. And we're all here creating what's coming. So
Yeah.
it's gorgeous, really.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of programming. It is. It's so beautiful. And yeah, there's just a lot of programming, I think, to get people riled up of like, oh, if you're reading the Q drops or you're tuned in, that means that's making you complacent and you're not doing anything. And look, no one's going to do anything. But that's not true. That's like basically the shadow trying to
Mhm.
create more darkness and create more low vibrational stuff. So yeah, no, it's all happening and it's so beautiful and it's such an exciting time. And yeah, just ask to be shown like the evidence of what's coming, because as soon as you click into that vibration, it's everywhere. It's here
It
every day.
is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mia. This was
Yeah,
beautiful.
thank you. This was
And
so
hopefully
good.
you guys, it made sense and was helpful. And, if you have another subject that you're really confused about it, put it in the comments and maybe we'll think about doing another one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you, honey. And
Thank
thanks for being
you.
here. So
Bye, everybody.